so hard to see. From the moment we arrive,
Hello everyone! In the last episode of Sailing ORIYO, a big step was achieved. We put the engine back on in a freshly renovated engine room. Therefore, many hours of work will be dedicated to add and connect all the peripheral gears to get the engine fully operational. Back upon the roof, we set back in place the mast as well and tied up all the rigging. Now ORIYO is looking definitely like a sailing boat again, proudly. We can now focus on the last works to get her ready for her first bath after so many years. Okay, so now Valéry is just finished to adjust the rigging and especially the shrouds.
It's not definitive.
It's done for the time that we still have to spend on the hard. The forestay, the backstay and the shrouds. But we know that when we'll be in the water...
Yes, we have to finish to adjust the rigging when the boat is in the water. For now we want everything straight and even, and that's it for now. To adjust correctly a rigging, it's a very long task. It's an art, I think.
Yeah, that's why it's a work, actually. There are professionals for that. After having adjusted the rigging in the front, in the back and on both sides of the mast, there remains a gap around the mast in the hole where it goes through the roof. To maintain it in position perfectly inside this space, we are manufacturing small chocks cut in a hard exotic wood made for resisting water. We need to make several pieces and adjust them a couple of times. So we reshape these chocks as many times as we need to get them fit right. Then the mast will be secured and we'll be able to make a gasket around the mast hole. Now that the boom is ready, we are going ahead and hoisting the genoa, which is new, and we are a bit afraid that it won't fit perfectly. So it's important to do that and to check if everything is good with the genoa. Well, we don't have wind, that's why we waited until this hour to do it, but we are a little bit tired after our working day, so if everything's all right with the genoa, we will keep going with the sails and put the mainsail on. So now we are at night, it's 10 p.m. We had to wait that long for the wind to stop completely. Alright, it is just amazing to see ORIYO with a sail.
So it's a very good news because we find this sail on the second-hand market, and I think it fits okay. There's just that here and that, but it's nothing.
Yeah, the thing is, there are like a couple of stains on the sail, so that's why the first buyer of this sail didn't want it. But as he ordered one brand new, we can understand that, which turns out to be great for us because we have a brand new sail with just a couple of stains for a very cheap price.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's a first good step for tonight with the Genoa hoisted, and everything that we had to check on is fine, but a little something. Very often when you are doing boatworks, things don't work out as you would like them to work. So we just have a little something to change on the front side of the sail where it goes into the furler. It is too big for the furler size, so we will have to change it. So we're on the road again. As last night we tried to hoist the Genoa and everything went well. The sail is just amazing and it looks very, very nice on the boat. But we have a little tiny problem with the bolt rope, which is located in the front part of the sail in the luff, and it is too big for our furler. So we have to find a place where we can get it reduced. And for that we found a sailor company which is about 100 kilometers on the west side of where we are studying and working on ORIYO. And as the weather is nice and we've been working very hard lately on the boat, it's kind of a good excuse to take a day off, take the road and give them our sail so it will be fixed, so we can hoist it again in a couple of weeks with everything normally fine and get our Genoa. So we are a couple of nights later and still no wind tonight. So we are using that precious weather time to hoist now the mainsail. And it's a little bit more work for this one because we have the battens to fit in it and they are a bit too long, so we have to cut them and then make them fit the place they are supposed to be wearing into the mainsail. Afterwards we will be able to hoist it. Okay, so the head sail is finally ready to be hoisted. That was the second night that we stayed up late because it's like almost 1 a.m. to wait for no wind at all and be able to hoist the sail. But at least this part of the work is done, and it was okay. Everything was fine with the mainsail, so we are just have to put it back, tidy it up in its bag, and go to sleep. One day we had the idea of finally open the chain locker, and it was about time. We found a windlass with aluminium melt underneath, so after removing every part, we cleaned it and we had to change the engine. The support was as well in a bad state with rotten wood. We removed the damaged part, replaced it with new plywood strengthened by fiberglass and a primer coating. Then we had to cut and connect new wires for the windlass electrical power as well. Among the zillion little boatworks to go through, we got out our propeller. Do you remember the one we were desperate to find to finally discover it in the cockpit locker well tidied? So firstly we polished the 3 blades and the core. Then we screw it on the back of the shaft and apply a specific primer, green, before covering it with an anti-fouling made for propellers. A really small part for a really expensive price. We'll see if the paint's worth it. But at least it looks nice and another part is done. Previously, we removed the winches in the cockpit, dismantled and cleaned them. During all this time, we kept them in storage, but it is time to put them back on. A little grease and they are good to go. At the same time, we do the same for those on the roof. In total, we have 2 winches near the mast, 2 on the roof on each side of the companionway, and 6 others in the cockpit, essentially made for the sheets, the runners and some other adjustments. To complete the chandlery that we will be using, we have to add 3 blocks on the mast. Doing so, we check each route followed by every lines. Finalizing their pathway, we are trying to see if there will be any inconsistency that could lead to damage a rope against a chandlery part, for instance. We put in place the lazy bag for the mainsail as well, held by new lines. This way the sail should be relatively easy to tidy and mainly protected against sun exposure. Here we are, getting closer and closer to the splash. So we are working on the beauty of the exterior of the boat with the sanding and the waxing of the hull, and of course in the end we will do the anti-fouling. About the hull part, we faced kind of a problem because we just wanted to sand the hull and then put the wax on. After sanding all the hull, we tried to wax the blue parts, the blue stripes on each side of the hull, and it appears that we cannot put wax on it because it is kind of old, and we know that there had been like a gel coat with a blue color in it, but after years and years, sadly this gel coat cannot be waxed anymore, so we will have to paint it. We didn't want coming to the point that we will have to paint the stripes, but we don't have any choice. So let's go for a little tape part and paint work with smile. Yeah, we weren't lucky on the color, so it was either dark gray or dark gray. Hopefully with the sun it will look lighter. Prep the hull carefully in order to get the best result possible with the wax polishing. We learned that the sanding step has to be in 3 times. We used a 500, then a 1000, and finally a 1200 grains sanding papers on the whole hull. This was long. But then we washed the sanding dust with clear water and finally waxing time. The final step. Besides giving a nice shiny look to the hull, this compound aims to protect the gel coat surface. I've spent a total of 4 full days to cover every inches. The worst really was the stern, especially for my painful arms, shoulders and back. But in the end, Oriyo is so beautiful that I'm glad to have accomplished this work. Hey guys, now that the launch day is getting closer and closer, it's now 2 weeks from now, we are taking care of the under part of the hull. So we are putting the primer, which is epoxy, and we will have 2 layers to put on, and then the first layer of the anti-fouling. And we have the weather, we have a little bit of wind, but not too much, and it's not too hot, not too cold. Well, it's kind of the perfect weather, so we are getting ready for that big part, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice Oriyo ready to go into the sea. After another taping work, we applied a primer paint that goes under the anti-fouling and is called Gel Shield. We did 3 layers of this paint. It's nice to have finally just one color on the bottom part of the hull. It's grey, plus we like this color.
Yes, but tomorrow it will be white.
Yeah, the anti-fouling will be white.
We know it's not the best anti-fouling, but it's just we know in French it's a caprice. Just want to have just in one time in your life to have your
A white anti-foiling.
yes.
Yeah.
But we know the next one will be something like black or gray.
Gray.
Or gray. I think black.
Black is it's supposed to be the best one, but yeah, white would be more sporty. And it's the only time that we will be doing it because we went back to the gel coats, so it was easier to work with a white anti-foiling this time. Okay, we just finished with the second layer of the epoxy and now we are waiting for it to dry a little bit, but not too much, because as we are using specific epoxy, it's the international brand and the name is the Gel Shield 200. And with this paint and the temperature outside that we have right now, we have to wait between 1 to 5 hours to put the anti-foiling on. We cannot wait more than that. It's very precise according to the technical sheets that goes with the paint, so we are respectfully following what they say. So now we enjoy this small little break with drinking some water and getting ready everything to do the anti-foiling, the brush and the paint and everything else. And the wind is raising a little bit, so hopefully we won't have any issue and won't spill out too many paint on the ground or on ourselves. To paint work for the last step, well, the second of last step, which is the first layer of the anti-foiling, and we have just waited 3 hours since we started the second layer of the epoxy, which means that it's 2 hours past we finished the epoxy, which means we are right on time, between 1 to 5 hours to put the anti-foiling on that epoxy. So now it's time to get this boat bright white.
ORIYO is all set for her next big step. We are so grateful to have started this adventure and deeply thankful that you are following us from the start or coming along these last months. We enjoyed sharing your comments, ideas and impressions during this huge work we've done trying to renovate this boat. Thank you. As always, you can like, share and write to us on YouTube, visit our website and join our Patreon team. We cannot wait to go forward, splash ORIYO, begin to sail and share this new step with you. See you in 2 weeks for the splashing day. Take care, bye bye.